He thought he was untouchable, a university lecturer who forced his way into the lives of innocent students. But when he messed with the wrong girl, one with deadly connections, his darkest nightmares became reality. The hunter became the hunted, and what happened next will send chills down your spine. Stay till the end, because this is a story you won't forget. The University of Zimbabwe buzzed with the usual morning chaos. Students hurrying to classes, lecturers strolling with authority, and campus vendors shouting their daily sales. Among the faculty members, one man walked with a distinct air of confidence. Dr. Tendai Moyo, a well-dressed, articulate young lecturer, was known for his charm and brilliance, but behind the polished exterior lay a dark, unsettling truth. His reputation among male students was that of an academic genius, a scholar who demanded the best. But among the female students, his name brought shivers of fear. The unspoken rule was clear. If you were a beautiful woman in Dr. Moyo's class, you had two options: accept his advances or risk failing his course. Many had succumbed to his manipulation, trapped between academic success and personal dignity. Some tried to resist, but their grades suffered mysteriously. Complaints had been whispered, but no action was ever taken. The university turned a blind eye, either out of fear or complicity. One afternoon, as he sat in his office, a timid knock came at the door. He smirked, already knowing what it meant. A young woman, barely in her 20s, stepped in with her head bowed. "Sir, please, I can't afford to fail," she stammered. Tendai leaned back in his chair, studying her. He enjoyed these moments, the power, the desperation in her eyes. Later that evening, as he exited the campus, he found a small folded note slipped under his car wiper. He opened it, expecting another plea from a student. Instead, his eyes narrowed as he read the words: "You have been warned. Stop now, or face the consequences." A slow, amused smile spread across his lips. "Idle threats," he muttered, crumpling the paper and tossing it to the ground. With a chuckle, he started his car and drove off, completely unaware that his days of power were numbered. Whispers spread through the university like wildfire. The warning note had done nothing to shake Dr. Tendai Moyo's arrogance, but it sent a ripple of unease through the students. Those who had suffered in silence now exchanged nervous glances, wondering if someone had finally gathered the courage to challenge him. But who? In the women's hostel, Jidza sat on the lower bunk of her shared room, her hands trembling as she recounted her experience to her roommate, Natasha. Tears streamed down her face. "I told him no, Natasha. I begged him. But he just smirked and said, 'You'll come back when you see your exam results.'" Natasha listened and watched with bitterness. Unlike most girls on campus, she had never feared men like Dr. Moyo. Beneath her calm demeanor, she carried a dark secret. She was not just a student. She was a member of the Black Vultures, a feared underground cult that operated in Harari's shadows. They had their own rules, their own justice, and men like Dr. Moyo. They were parasites that needed to be eliminated. Jidza sniffled. "It's useless to fight him, Natasha. Even if we report him, nothing will happen." Natasha leaned in, her voice low but firm. "Maybe the school won't do anything, but I will." A sinister glint flickered in her eyes. She had seen men like Tendai before, predators who believed they were untouchable. But she had also seen what happened when they crossed the wrong people. A slow smile spread across her lips. Dr. Moyo thought he was a hunter, but he was about to realize he was the prey. Dr. Tendai Moyo was used to women fearing him. He enjoyed watching their hesitation, their desperate attempts to avoid his advances, while knowing resistance would cost them their future. But Natasha was different. She did not cower in his presence. She did not stutter when she spoke, and that intrigued him. He had noticed her weeks ago. Her confident walk, her sharp tongue, and the way she carried herself like a queen among peasants. He had assumed she was untouchable, not because she was powerful, but because women like her usually came from families that could fight back. But when she walked into his office one afternoon, Flashing a knowing smile, Tendai saw an opportunity he could not resist. "Dr. Moyo," she said, closing the door behind her. "I hear you're a man who appreciates beauty." Tendai raised an eyebrow. He had been expecting another frightened girl, not one who approached him boldly. He leaned back, intrigued. "I appreciate many things, Natasha. Intelligence, confidence, and, of course, beauty." She stepped closer, her fingers tracing the edge of his desk. "And power." He chuckled. "Power is the most attractive of all." Natasha smiled. "I like powerful men, but even powerful men must be careful. Sometimes they overstep." Tendai's eyes darkened slightly. Was she toying with him? The challenge only excited him more. "Are you warning me, Natasha?" She tilted her head, just stating a fact. As she turned to leave, she glanced over her shoulder. "I'll see you soon, sir." Tendai smirked. He believed he had one, but what he didn't know was that he had just taken the first step toward his own destruction. Dr. Tendai Moyo believed he had conquered yet another student. Natasha's confidence only made her more desirable in his eyes. Unlike the others, she was not trembling, not begging, not crying. She was playing along, and that excited him. He had no idea that he was merely a pawn in a much larger game. Later that evening, he received a message on his phone. "I like men who know what they want. Meet me at the Horizon Hotel, room 207, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Let's talk properly." His lips curled into a satisfied smirk. Natasha was falling into place faster than he expected. She was making it too easy. He replied instantly, "I'll be there. Don't be late." But across the city, inside a dimly lit room, Natasha sat with her cult members, the Black Vultures. The leader, known only as Shadow, watched her closely. "Are you sure you want to handle this yourself?" he asked, his deep voice cutting through the tense air. Natasha's eyes burned with cold determination. "He has ruined many lives. I want him to suffer first." Shadow nodded. "Then let's make sure he never sees it coming." The plan was set. At the Horizon Hotel, a hidden camera would capture everything: a confession, a moment of arrogance, anything that could destroy Dr. Moyo's career before his life was taken. But if he refused to confess, there was a darker, more permanent plan in place. As Natasha stared at her phone, watching Tendai's last message, a slow smile formed on her lips. Tomorrow, the hunter would step into a trap he could never escape. The next evening, Dr. Tendai Moyo arrived at the Horizon Hotel with the confidence of a man who believed he controlled the world. Dressed in a crisp shirt and expensive cologne, he stepped into room 207, expecting a night of pleasure. But Natasha was not like the others. She greeted him with a sultry smile, pouring two glasses of red wine. "You don't waste time, do you, Dr. Moyo?" Tendai chuckled, settling into the chair across from her. A man who knows what he wants doesn't hesitate. Natasha sipped her wine, watching him closely. "And what is it you want?" "Sir," Tendai smirked, "you already know the answer." She leaned in slightly, her voice dropping to a whisper. "I hear you like to test your students in special ways before giving them good grades." Tendai's grin widened. He took a long sip of wine, not realizing a small recording device was hidden under the table. "Well, Natasha, let's just say some students need extra motivation." She raised an eyebrow. "And the ones who refuse?" He shrugged. "They fail. Simple. Click." The recorder captured every word. Natasha's heart raced. The evidence was secured, but the night was far from over. Tendai reached for her hand, but she pulled back, her expression unreadable. "Tell me, Dr. Moyo," she whispered, "do you ever fear that one day you'll mess with the wrong woman?" Tendai laughed, oblivious to the trap closing around him. "Fear, my dear, I am untouchable." As he finished his wine, his phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. He opened it and froze. A voice recording. His voice. His confession. Then another message followed. "This is just the beginning." A chill ran down his spine, but he quickly shook it off. Someone was playing games. No one could touch him, or so he thought. Dr. Tendai Moyo sat frozen, his fingers tightening around his phone. His own voice played back at him, each word dripping with arrogance and guilt. His chest tightened, but he quickly masked his fear with a smirk. He looked up at Natasha, who sat calmly, swirling her wine glass. "Is this your idea of a joke?" he asked, forcing a chuckle. She tilted her head. "Does it sound funny to you?" Tendai exhaled sharply. "What do you want? Money? A better grade? I can fix this." Natasha let out a slow, eerie laugh. "Fix this," she repeated. "Dr. Moyo, you're beyond fixing." She leaned in, her voice as sharp as a blade. "You've destroyed many lives. Girls have cried themselves to sleep because of you. Some have dropped out, some have suffered in silence. And you've walked around like a king." Tendai's jaw clenched. He had been in tight situations before, but this felt different. "Listen, Natasha, you don't know who you're messing with." Her eyes darkened. "Neither do you." Before he could reply, another message popped up on his phone. It was a video this time. His car, his house, his office. Someone had been watching him. His hands grew clammy as Natasha stood up and straightened her dress. "Here's the deal, Dr. Moyo. You have 48 hours to confess publicly. Tell the university everything. Admit your crimes and disappear." Or, she trailed off, her smile sinister. "You won't like what happens next." Tendai shot to his feet, rage flashing in his eyes. "You think you can threaten me? I run this university. You're nothing but a..." Natasha moved so fast he barely saw it. In a flash, a blade was at his throat. His breath hitched as the cold steel pressed against his skin. Natasha's voice was low, dangerous. "Your power ends now, Dr. Moyo. The Black Vultures have decided your fate." After saying this, she let him go. Tendai swallowed hard. For the first time in his life, he felt something he had never known before: fear. Dr. Tendai Moyo stumbled out of the Horizon Hotel, his heart pounding so hard it felt like it would burst from his chest. The cold night air did nothing to stop the sweat dripping down his forehead. His hands trembled as he pulled out his phone, scrolling through the messages again. The video of his car, his house, his office. Someone had been watching him for a long time. His mind raced. Who were the Black Vultures? A mere student could not pull this off alone. Natasha was dangerous, but she wasn't working alone. No, this was bigger than just her. And now they had given him a deadline, 48 hours to confess. As he drove home, paranoia clawed at him. Every car behind him felt like it was following him. Every pedestrian on the street seemed to be watching him. When he finally parked outside his house, his hands shook as he struggled to insert the key into the door. Once inside, he locked every door, shut the curtains, and slumped into a chair. His arrogance had kept him untouchable for years. But now, for the first time, he felt powerless. A vibration in his pocket jolted him. Another message. "You have 47 hours left." Tendai cursed under his breath. He grabbed a glass and poured himself a drink. But before he could take a sip, his phone rang. An unknown number. His stomach twisted, but he answered. A distorted voice filled his ear. "Confess, Dr. Moyo, or we'll make you." The call ended before he could respond. His hand clenched around his phone, his breath ragged. He had two choices: fight back or run. But deep inside, he knew there was no escape to what was coming. Dr. Tendai Moyo barely slept that night. Every sound outside made him jolt awake, his mind drowning in fear. By morning, his once proud confidence had withered into paranoia. He paced around his living room, replaying Natasha's words in his head. "You have 48 hours to confess, or you won't like what happens next." He wasn't going to confess. That would mean losing everything: his reputation, his career, his wealth. No, there had to be another way. Grabbing his phone, he dialed an old contact, Detective Monash, a corrupt officer he had bribed in the past to make problems disappear. When the officer picked up, Tendai spoke quickly. "I need your help. Someone is blackmailing me." The detective sighed. "That's not my problem, Dr. Moyo. Tendai clenched his jaw. I'll pay. Just find out who the Black Vultures are and stop them before they destroy me. There was silence on the other end. Then, Munasha's voice dropped. Did you just say the Black Vultures? Tendai's stomach twisted. Yes. Why? A tense pause. Then Munash muttered, You should run. A chill ran down Tendai's spine. What? I can't help you, Munash whispered. These people don't blackmail, Dr. Moyo. They erase. The line went dead. Tendai's fingers went numb. If even a corrupt police officer was afraid of them, what did that mean for him? His phone vibrated again. Another message. Time's running out. Run, confess, or face the consequences. His pulse thundered in his ears. He had spent years preying on women, believing he was untouchable. Now, the predators had become the prey, and he was running out of time. Dr. Tendai Moyo grabbed a suitcase and stuffed it with cash, passports, and clothes. His pride told him to fight back, but his survival instincts screamed otherwise. If Detective Munash was too scared to help, that meant the Black Vultures were beyond the reach of the law. He had less than 24 hours left. As he hurried out of his house, his phone vibrated again. His fingers trembled as he checked the message. Too late to run. See you soon. His stomach twisted. Had they already found him? He rushed into his car and sped through the streets of Harare, ignoring traffic lights and the blaring horns of angry drivers. His only thought was escape. He dialed a contact, Professor Dubé, an old lecturer who had been like a mentor to him. The call connected, and Tendai wasted no time. Sir, I need a place to hide, just for a few days. A heavy sigh came through the line. Tendai, I warned you about this. You brought this on yourself. I know, but please help me. I don't want to die. Silence. Then Dubé whispered, No one can help you now. They've already decided your fate. The line went dead. Tendai's heart slammed against his ribs. He was running out of options. As he pulled into a quiet street, his headlights illuminated something ahead. His breath caught in his throat. A black vulture sat perched on his front gate, watching, waiting. His blood ran cold. It was a warning. They were close. He was no longer just being hunted. They were already here. Dr. Tendai Moyo's breath came in shallow gasps as he gripped the steering wheel. The black vulture perched on his gate was no coincidence. It was a message. The black vultures were here, watching, waiting for him to make his final move. His hands trembled as he reversed the car, heart hammering against his ribs. He needed to leave Harare immediately. He wasn't going to confess. He wasn't going to beg. He was going to disappear. But just as he turned onto a dark, deserted road, his headlights illuminated something ahead. A figure stood in the middle of the street, dressed in all black, her hands resting at her sides. Natasha. His stomach lurched. He slammed his foot on the brake, tires screeching. Before he could react, shadows emerged from the darkness. Figures in black hoodies, moving silently, surrounding his car. Panic exploded in his chest. He yanked the gear shift, trying to reverse, but a loud bang echoed as his back. The car tilted slightly. He was trapped. His door was ripped open. And before he could scream, hands grabbed him, dragging him out of the vehicle. He kicked and struggled, but a fist slammed into his ribs, knocking the air out of his lungs. Through hazy vision, he looked up at Natasha, who crouched beside him, her eyes cold and emotionless. I told you, Dr. Moyo, she whispered. Your time was up. He gasped, blood trickling from his lips. Please, I can pay. She shook her head. Some crimes can't be paid for with money. Darkness surrounded him as the figures closed in. The last thing he saw was the glint of a blade reflecting the moonlight. The next morning, Harare woke up to breaking news. Dr. Tendai Moyo's body had been found dumped in the middle of the street. His mouth was taped shut, his hands bound behind his back, and a single note pinned to his chest. The hunter has become the hunted. Let this be a lesson. And with that, the reign of terror he had built crumbled into dust. But the whispers of the Black Vultures lived on, reminding the world that some monsters do not go unpunished. Power and arrogance can blind a man, but sooner or later, justice always finds its way. Dr. Moyo thought he was untouchable, but in the end, he became an example, a warning that no evil goes unpunished. What do you think? Did he deserve his fate, or should there have been another way to deal with him? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this story and want more thrilling African folktales, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. More mind-blowing stories are coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. Hit that notification bell so you're always the first to watch. See you in the next one. Love you all.